we have to lift it up 30 mil, probably 40.
This week, the Tommy Camper arrived to be fitted onto the Aussie Dream Tourer. My hope is that this will be the blank canvas that allows me to fulfill my vision for the Dream Tourer. I'm Andrew St Pierre White. Join me as I share my passion for building four-wheel drive trucks and travelling to the remotest parts of the world.
The Tommy Camper arrived yesterday, and I asked them to deliver it directly to the guys at Quick Pitch because they're going to help me equip it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you, give you a brief introduction to why I bought this. So I have confirmed the distance 997 from there to there, and I need that clearance over the top of the roll bar, which is part of the tray, and I have to make up just that much, so really not very much. I did some measurements before and actually came to a slightly higher figure, so I'm very pleased with that. There's a very small spacer we need to put underneath it to lift it up just that small amount, so that's done. That was a worry I had, and no longer a worry. That's an easy fix. One of the other question marks I had, and again, you can see it in a showroom, but you don't really understand how it works until you actually see it or do it. And I want a ute for general use. I'm not going to have this on the back of the vehicle all the time. That's my daily driver. How easy is it to take off and put on? We took it off yesterday. It comes supplied with these guys, and it is supremely simple, but I won't know how easy it is to do that until I actually do it myself on my vehicle. But the first indications are that the designer took that very seriously, because that is the best I've yet seen. I can't imagine being on a trip and actually wanting to take this off during a trip, so I won't actually travel with these things. But if anybody actually thought about doing that, if they were sitting in a location for any period of time, what one would have to then do is brace that's what these are for. You can see these here? Those are for bracing to stop that movement. And the way to stop that movement is to create a triangle with straps, and that to make this then rigid. You would then be able to sleep in it with it off the bed of a ute. That is a decent set of steps. I think steps made this rigid is a really good idea. I'm 60 and I don't have a problem getting in and out of rooftop tents, but in 10 years time or 15 years time I might. I will certainly not have a problem getting up those stairs. In fact, Tommy's make actually a rail that you could clip onto here. I said no, I didn't need it, but they actually make one to enable, if you were a little bit infirm, find it difficult to step, you could climb up into there. It comes supplied with these. Now these sliders, you can see down here, it's sliding out. So what I would do is, once it's on my vehicle, I would then drill a hole through there and set that length. And that would be, so they've actually, it's again quite cleverly sorted. They've done one for each side. So, and that's just basically a piece of wood. All right, so it's not wood, it's something else, it's a plastic material. So it's quite clever actually. You can set it perfectly for your own vehicle. So that's well thought out. It means you can get it just right. One of the problems with rooftop tents, they're often a little bit too high and you need a ladder extension, and they're often a bit fiddly to get exactly right, because everybody's vehicle is a little higher or lower than everybody else's. So that's good. I like that too. Left of the vehicle, this is the kitchen. So I have left this side open because I want a fridge slider, but many of the fridge sliders in this industry, the drop down, the sliders and the drop downs, I'm going to need a drop down, otherwise I'm not going to be able to see to get the food out if it slides out from here. So I'm going to need something drop down. Most of them are very heavy. You've got to find a way around that weight. Okay, and the other thing is that a lot of them are very inefficient with their space. This is enough space for at least a 60 litre. Some fridge sliders will only allow me to put a 40 or so litre in there because of the amount the slider drop down actually takes up on its own. So that's to come. All right, this is the kitchen that came, and this is a Tommy Camper built in. This came with it. That's a table, working table. That is the same height. Let's see, is it the same height? I think it's the same height as my troop carrier for preparing food. Preparing food on a table, on a low table, is terrible on the back. So that's a food prep table, and it has that's a sink. Isn't that great? That's so nice. That I didn't expect. I didn't know that was part of the deal. These shelves here and I think I'm probably going to line them with carpet or something. And these two, part of the Tommy Camper build. As you close that and strap that into its space, it holds everything in, so nothing can now fall out. And there's a good space underneath there, which my stove fit in there? Maybe. I'm hoping my stove is going to fit in there. Isn't that nice? It's first class. So lighting up here, and I've already sheltered from, there's a light rain, I'm going to be sheltered from the rain underneath that. They have fitted a table slider here. I'm not crazy about those tables. You know what's good about them is that they are so compact. And they've got this here, which I can only imagine, it's aluminium, for towel rolls up there, I'm thinking. What else could it be for? Can't think of anything else right now. So that's the water tank. That's a 70 litre water tank, which will feed a shower system. I'm going to fit a shower system based on the Duetto electric boiler, 10 litre electric boiler, and the shower system that Quick Pitch developed for my troop carrier. It was, nothing comes close. I've used gas, and nothing comes close to efficiency on water usage. Nothing. Because everything else you have to tweak to get it to the right temperature. That you don't. Which means water usage far less. To me, that's important. This bit here are actually drawers that are accessible from the inside, and will contain things probably like clothes and things like that. But here I have this enormous open space where there is absolutely nothing. Now, I think that when developing a camper, building a four-wheel drive, equipping it for overlanding, I think the most important single thing one has to focus on is access. Access. How do you get to things, and how do you put them back? If there's anything in your vehicle where access is a pain, you'll just not use it until you absolutely need it. So then you have to think, well, why am I taking it? So, and it's no different from here, access. But there's another thing too that I think a lot of camper manufacturers miss out on, and that is real estate. For example, in the back of the troop carrier, when I was camping in the back of the troop carrier, those flat areas were gold. They were gold. There weren't nearly enough of them. That's why the drop-down table was so nice, because it was immediately something that you could just put things. If I wanted to fly the drone, click down. I've got now real estate in which to just put things, not store things, carry things, drive with things, but put things when you're working and living with a vehicle. And I have this massive space here, huge. So this will be the shower area, and it'll be the workshop area. So when I want to have a shower, it'll be up here, and I can drop it down. The water control systems will be probably here. This area here will be for my electrics. Now, the reason why this is a great area for electrics, well, I can't store anything there really, can I? So it's not dead space, but it's boiler there, because I can't access that point there. That's fixed. See, again, access. I can't reach stuff in the middle. So anything in the middle is fixed. Leave it fixed. So part of the fridge will be there. Boiler, logical place. It's heavy when it's full, so keep it forward. There. The spare wheel will be here, so that'll take up this much space. All right. So now I've got the space to work with. What do I do with it? Maybe I do nothing with it. Maybe it's just a place to pack chairs. There you go. Place to pack chairs. They're out when I'm camping, so now it turns into a workshop space. Place to do stuff. The shower equipment and taps and everything will be this side. So I've got this big space and I don't know what to do with it. That's wonderful. Since this project began, the question that has been ringing in my ears without a solution for all this time has been, how do I carry 2 spares? Now, the reason why it's such a difficult thing to sort out is that, yeah, I could have a carrier on the back and I could have that 80 plus kilos hanging off the back of the car. The whole thing is, how do I get weight forward? How do I solve this? And it's not been easy, but the WA distributor suggested to me, he said, why don't you put one of the spares inside? I hadn't even thought of that. So this is his idea. Now there's not enough height here with this, so I could take away this one drawer or shorten it, okay, and then take the spare wheel and roll it forward and put it here. It's far forward. Most of the upper part of that is dead space anyway, so it's taking up this part of real estate, which is, well, I've got enough to go around. So taking up that much space inside is not a big deal. The tire is then protected from the sun, and the weight's forward. And then when I'm carrying a second spare, I use the Tommy Camper bracket on the back. So Tommy Camper's strengthened this, built the tray that the wheel hangs in, so the weight is carried mostly on this. So the question therefore is that when I'm not carrying the camper, what do I do about a spare wheel? I'm going to have to rig up something on the roll bar forward side of the tray to carry a spare. But by far the best part of this is the fact that it is a blank canvas. What am I going to do here? There's space, there's little rails for putting things, for strapping things, for hooking things. They've thought of that. I can hook things. I can add something here. I can everywhere I look, there's something I can do. It's like a wow. What am I going to do with all of this? What do I must need a light up there. So see a light up there. So at night, if I open the door, I can turn on a light, and there's a light down here, shining down here, so I can see stuff like that. Keen-eyed viewers will notice this angle. Previous versions of the Tommy Camper was flat, and what the reason for this angle is that when tall people climbing in don't have to stoop, because they brought this forward. Clever thinking. And it looks better too. What else will I do with it? Alright, several comments about the fact that it'll get very hot because it's black. The whole top is white, highly reflective white. So on top of that I will put a solar system, and there's something, I'm trying something a little bit different with a high voltage solar system. Why high voltage? That's going to be an interesting story that I'm learning about solar panels. So on top, I don't know how many watts. The batteries will remain in the vehicle, as I said. There will be cables that will run through, plug and play. I've got some beautiful new lights from Hella, gorgeous lights from Hella. I've got to decide how to switch those lights. A lot of them have self-contained switches. How do I work them? But lights in the obvious places. They have fitted already. Tommy fitted some very nice lights in the tent itself. I might leave those.
This all then is my genuine first look at the Tommy. I didn't open it before rolling the camera. What you are seeing is my first impressions of what I have just purchased.
Okay. It's a bit of a shock. Let's see here, and I'll climb up very carefully and have a look inside. Alrighty. So, wow, this is really nice. Big. So this is the bench to work. So can two people work here? Two people could work. I think two people would be a little bit cramped side by side, but there's an area there that I could actually put another one of these benches on and then sit side by side and have a slide out table. That's the idea. Another bench there, same height as this, and then a table in the middle that would come out of where? Where would the table come out of? Would slide out or something. I'm not sure. First impression is space and air and light. Just bam. I asked them to shorten the bed to 1.9 meters. I think the standard was 22050, I seem to remember. Good call. I can tell you now immediately, good call, because the space in here I thought would be very cramped. No, for two people, a bit for two people, but not majorly so. You could easily have one person, on the sleeping, where the troop carrier wasn't. I mean, if one person was sleeping, then there was no space left. The bed was down, and therefore space consumed. Here, that is not the case. Here, one would sleep with one's head that side, because this side there's nothing to stop pillows falling down. That is a serious, proper mattress. A proper mattress. So I don't even think I'm going to need to modify. It's foam, but it is. I don't even think I'm going to need to modify that. Really good, really good. This fabric feels it's quite heavy. It's. I would say it's probably would insulate extremely well. My guess is it's not light at all, and of course you've got the mosquito netting, which is fixed. The mosquito netting is not, you cannot unzip the mosquito netting. It's fixed. But I think there is so much, because all four sides you will get air flowing through, and you've got a fan. So it's a big thing with products like this. Do you get condensation? The way they have put the material they've used in the roof, my guess is there will be zero condensation. There might be condensation on the sides of the walls. I don't know. Again, one never knows with that kind of thing. But they've obviously thought of it, because that's the material for the roof. It would stop condensation. And the airflow here will be really good, I think. Wow. So now from now on, from here, I'll be documenting all of the bits and pieces I do with it. I've never had a canvas so wide, and never even close. And I'll be documenting every part of it. And then our first trip has been moved from June to July, purely because of the COVID-19 situation. And we're going to be doing something major. But I am going to do a short trip
with this a test trip with this before our big trip with Gwyn, and it'll be wonderful because I will be showing Gwyn the Australian outback for the very first time. She's never seen it. She has been to some places on the coast. She's never seen the outback. I cannot wait for her to get as excited about it as I am. I know she will. And at about this point, you have to slow it so it doesn't slam shut. And there you go. Just use that to close. Really easy to close. Are at the correct angle. They are not at the correct angle at this time. They would need to be set for the height of my vehicle. I've got a number of choices with how to handle the electrics in the camper, and as I see how much space I've got to use, my thoughts are changing, and I could go for a flat out, completely over the top DC system, and I'm thinking now, why not? Because there's something I'd like to try, and that is induction cooking. I just want to know if it's better than gas cooking, and I know it's feasible. What's it really like? And an extremely important question for me is my partner steel. Perfect. Couldn't be better.